Hello, farmers, and welcome to another episode of the harvest season. My name is Al.
And I'm Micah.
And we're here today to talk about cottagecore games. Woo!
Cozy.
And you totally didn't forget and suddenly remember that you had to say your own name there, did you?
I never know when to I've got the brain of a 5-year-old, so I need someone to say, and now's the time that you say your name.
Well, the problem is, right, you're on like 2 episodes a year, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, the others are on like, once a month or something. It's much easier to remember how it goes that way.
I feel like I've gotten better about the outro, but yes, you're totally right. It's not, it comes to me again as we're doing it.
Yeah. That's the thing. I could hear it. I could hear you when you said, and I'm Micah. I could hear you were like, "Oh yes, no, I need to say it now."
Could hear the cogs clanking around in there.
Anyway, welcome. It's been a while. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. It's always fun to be on. Talk about some of my favorite genre of games.
I noticed how you said favorite genre games, not favorite games, because we'll see. Let's not conclude on the game yet before we've even said what it is. So, first of all, transcripts for the podcast are available in the show notes and on the website if you need them. Well, they're there whether you need them or not, but now you know where to go if you need them. We're going to talk. You know what it's going to be because we got Micah on. You know it's going to be either Harvest Moon or Story Seasons. We've got a Harvest Moon, the Winds of Anthos.
We sure do.
We're gonna talk about that. Just as a preamble to that, I will not be playing the game during the episode because I've already sold it. So that probably explains my feelings in a summary, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But
I've got it digital, so it's not even an option for me.
Oh,
so.
I know better than to buy a Harvest Moon game digitally. Come on.
I actually told you about this, but I'll save it for when we get there.
Yeah, we can leave that for the people can hear the fun story. We've got a bunch of news, bunch of exciting news to talk about. But first of all, Micah, what have you been up to?
I just recently got back from Japan. My partner and I went for about 2-3 weeks, something like that. Something we've been planning since originally planned on going in spring of 2020.
Classic.
World event happened.
What happened in spring 2020? Nothing happened. That's
everything
the point.
Feels weird after 2020. I don't know what it was. Yes, it was a great time. It was something that we've been looking forward to for a long time. I put a lot of time and effort into the planning the itinerary and making sure that we had a full schedule, but also a flexible schedule. For a bit there, it was getting to the point where I've got some levels of ADHD and OCD that I have been formally diagnosed with that manifests itself in things like that, where I'll just lock in on an idea and then I'll just run with it, and then I'll just keep going, and then I'll get deeper and deeper. And it was pretty much to the point where I was like Google mapping if I took the train from this location at this time of day in Japan, what train would I take and where would I transfer and how much would it cost? And then figuring out travel costs down to the individual train ride and things like that.
Oh, you got to know the best. You got to know the best way to pay for it, right? Do I get a travel card or am I buying individual tickets? That's important.
That originally was the plan, but then it just got to the point where it was like things that especially knowing now, you would not be able to pre-plan for, really, given how travel works, mass transit travel works there. But which beautiful, by the way, beautiful transit system. Could not say anything bad about that transit system. And then we came back here where it's just cars.
Nice. Well, you presumably weren't traveling in peak time, commuting hour.
There was a lot of it where we were,
Okay.
which was a little, that was a little challenging, being absolutely crammed into trains, like just packed with people. Was an experience that I'm not used to, but
Yeah.
but yeah, it was an experience. I did a lot of looking at retro games and stuff like that. We did a lot of we did some themed cafes and things like that. Dragon Quest Cafe. Went to the Dragon Quest Island. Dragon Quest Island was a bucket list item, and I was very excited to do that. Very awesome, just like a real life JRPG. You just like walk around a town and get quests and then go fight stuff and then come back, and it's a lot of like, what do you call it, fetch quests, but it still was a very cool experience. And while I was there, they were promoting and releasing Mario Wonder, so I picked that up while I was there because the exchange rate was absolutely in our favor. So a brand new Switch game wound up being like $36 or something like that.
Oh, nice.
USD once you convert it. And I've been playing that. I picked up the Metal Gear collection while I was there too, because it came out around the same time, and I played a little bit of that. But mostly it's been I've been playing Super Mario Wonder and trying to get through the Pokemon DLC. And I've picked up Disney Speedstorm, and I've been playing a lot of Disney Speedstorm, which is their
Is it any good?
kart racer. It is actually incredible.
Okay.
It is remarkably good. There's two mechanics that I think separate it quite a bit from being just like Mario Kart. It does feel just like Mario Kart, but with, Disney characters. But one of the mechanics is that you, instead of having like just there's this selection of power, like, like item block, you get the item block and there's like a selection of items that you can get out of that. And everybody gets the same thing. There's one item that is like your ultimate move for whatever your racer is, and all the racers have different ultimate moves.
Okay.
And even beyond that, there is a basic ultimate move, and there is a charged ultimate move where if you hold the button and charge it up, then it'll do something different.
Oh.
So as an example, I've been playing a lot of Donald Duck, and Donald Duck's basic move, ultimate move, is that he puts a shield around himself, and if that shield gets broken, then he has these like, energy fists that punch all the other racers around him. But if you charge it, then it immediately does the fists, and it also boosts you. So there's like different ways that your ultimates can come through. The big thing for me, I think, is that there's a like combat mechanic to it where you can slam into other cars and push them off, into a obstacle or whatever. And a lot of the power-ups and stuff like that, or a lot of the items can be translated directly into combat. So it really, there's a really powerful feeling of getting into a race and immediately shoving everybody around you into the wall as Donald Duck, and then just like blasting your way through the finish line. There's something so
So it's Mario Kart crossed with Burnout.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it does have it, especially in the single player, because there's not, there's opportunity, there's time for that. It like slows down a little bit and shows the cart that you hit, like, spinning out or whatever. Obviously can't do that in multiplayer, but
yeah, sure.
That definitely makes it feel more like Burnout in that way when you're hitting something and it's, like spinning out and you're watching it in slow motion. And
Burnout was always my favorite racing game when I was younger, just because of that. Like, I was never a huge fan of like the realistic racers because I was like, this just isn't fun.
Yeah.
But Burnout was like, yeah, like I can drive and smash people into walls.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's great. And that's like the big difference between it and Mario Kart. Like there's kart combat, quote unquote, with the items that you get and things like that in Mario Kart. But this is like physical combat. It's like it's much more cutthroat. It
Sounds
feels
very satisfying.
It is a really satisfying game, and it's doing the whole, like they're doing seasons, and they have a battle pass, and you can buy like a premium battle pass that gives you more or whatever.
So that's my next question. How bad is that? Because obviously it's free to play game.
It is not bad. A lot of it is very cosmetic focused.
Right. Okay.
Because there's outfits for racers, there's different like paint jobs for racers and things like that. They have things like victory poses that you can get.
Yeah.
There are some bundles where it's like you can buy these upgrade packs for like the specific items that you need to upgrade your racer's level, which I can see being problematic in the long run.
Is that something you can get for free if you work hard enough?
Yes,
that?
it is.
Right, okay.
That is something. So there is a lot of content to it. There's like, for the single player portion of it, there's seasons, and every season has like a single player chunk where it's all of these like it's like chapters, and each chapter has, I don't know, 8 to 10 races in it, and the races will unlock chests that have like the upgrades and stuff like that in it.
Yeah.
But there's like I don't even 10 chapters or something like that for each season. So like right now the season is highlighting Aladdin, and you can, so like through the battle pass you can unlock Jasmine and you can unlock Genie as racers, and you unlock them really early in the battle pass. Right. And you can get them early even without the like premium battle pass. But then all the way at the end of the battle pass, you get like, special outfits and special car colors and whatever, like paint jobs and stuff like that. But the single player portion of the season is all like Aladdin based story content, or like quote unquote story content, where it's, like races that you have to do with specific conditions. And there's so much content for it. There's like an unbelievable amount of content that's just like free content. So there is a lot of opportunity to get that stuff yourself without paying anything for it.
Okay, that's good.
That's good though. It's a really, really good racer. I'll
really
need to
try
having fun with it
because I've tried a number of different kart racers, and most of them I've just not enjoyed the controls. Like they've just never felt like they've worked as well as Mario Kart. So I'll need to try this one and see.
This
how
definitely is the most Mario Kart similar, I think.
It doesn't need to be the exact same.
Right.
I just use that as an example because like I like the controls in Mario Kart.
Yes,
I think it's very smooth and it's very controllable, every single version of it.
Yeah.
Whereas like, if you take like Crash Team Racing or Sonic Racing or whatever, I hate. Mm-hmm. I don't enjoy how they control.
Yeah,
I always feel like I'm just not in as control as I am with Mario Kart. So
yeah, given that and how similar I think our feelings are on that, I feel like you'll probably like it because I'm very much the same way. I was not a fan of Crash Team Racing and Sonic Racing and how that felt. It does. I think probably just because of history with it, I'm most attuned to like Mario Kart controls and things like that, and it feels the most like that. Like, you go off a jump and you can hit a button to do like a flare or whatever to like give yourself a little bit of boost, and the drift feels like Mario Kart, and there's like drift chaining and stuff that feels the same way. So
I'll definitely try it then, give it a shot. I have actually downloaded it on my Switch. I've just not opened it yet.
Yeah,
because it's like free to play game that I know I'm going to play at some point. Of course I'm going to download it, right?
Yeah. And it's also I think it's on every platform now, but you can chain your account. It's like super easy to link your account between platforms. So that's also really nice.
It came out of early access a few months ago.
You know what it is? It's coming to mobile soon, is what I remember. So
interesting.
We'll see how the game changes at that point. But
I don't. Having said I liked all the Mario Kart, I don't like live. I don't like Mario Kart live.
No,
I don't like I just no. I want something like that. I want the new I like everything that it does in terms of like the live service stuff. I just want that on a Switch with controls rather than like the I don't like the anyway, whatever.
Yep. No, I feel you.
So I too have been playing Mario Wonder. I have now finished it. I think in the last episode I said I was nearly done and I just had one level to go. I have now finished that one. I have 100% the game. So
dang. I have not finished it. I'm very excited to though. What are your thoughts now that you've finished it?
I really love it. I think so it is good, one of the best Mario games, one of the best 2D Mario games they've done. I think it's really good. I think what I think is amazing, right, is see if we had this game and 1 in every 4 levels had a Wonder Flower. We'd think that was a cool, really cool idea, and it was really interesting that they did that. The fact that they've done this in every single level, and every single level has a different thing that the Wonder Flower does.
It's
every
insane.
Single level.
Yeah, it's insane. And there's like
is incredible.
Multiple methods through the levels too. Like it's just it's crazy how
I love it.
Much detail and love went into that game.
I also feel like, unlike most Marios, I feel like I could figure out most of the secrets myself. So there's a few that I just didn't quite get and I had to Google. But with most other Marios, I've been like, I have absolutely no idea how to deal with this. I don't know where to go here. And maybe that's just me getting better at figuring out their secrets. That's a possibility. But I've just felt like and I feel like when I got to the end of the game, I wasn't hugely far off 100% because it just felt like everything was really fun to continue doing. I got close to 100%ing each world that I did up to 4, and then 5 and 6 I just was like, I just want to finish this now. So I did what I needed to, but
right.
I think I think it was, and I think there are quite a few levels at the end that are really difficult, and they're not Mario Maker difficult, right? They're not insane. You have to have split second reflexes to ever do this.
Sure.
But especially the very last level, which when you get to it, that one in particular was so frustrating. I'm not joking when I say it took me 60 lives to get through that game.
Holy
that level.
Smokes. I had actually read someone had said that they felt like it was the closest a Mario an official Mario game has come to feeling like a Kaizo Mario game, which if you don't know, Kaizo Mario games are they call them Iron Man Mario games. It's insanely impossible, super reflex heavy. You have to jump with a shell at the right time and then kick off of that shell at the right time so that it hits a wall at the right time, and then jump off of that shell after the all of these really precise movements and things like that. And they said, it's not a Kaizo Mario level, it is the closest that a core Mario game has come to feeling like a Kaizo.
Yeah, there definitely are a few levels like that. I understand there are people who are I want more like that, and that's fair. But I certainly think there are some levels in this that are some of the hardest that have ever been in a Mario game.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed it. I think it was fantastic.
It's really fun. It's such a. I was really kind of on the fence about the theme or the aesthetic of it being I don't know, LSD induced, whatever is happening. Whatever. I
was thinking more magic mushrooms, but
whatever hallucinogenic effects these wonder flowers have on, these wonder seeds have on everybody. I was a little bit on the fence of okay, I don't know if I'm, Elephant Mario and whatever, and it just felt a little too wacky, maybe. when I first saw the like trailer for it and stuff, obviously it still looked good. I was still interested in it. I'm happy that didn't like deter me from it at all, because it's awesome. It's such a good Mario game.
Agreed.
And that like aesthetic is really, really well done throughout the game without feeling, overly wacky or whatever.
Yeah. It's been a really good year for games, because I also have been playing Spider-Man 2, and I've been loving that. It's a great game.
Yeah?
I think I'm like 80% through the main story.
Okay.
But there's still quite a lot of side stuff that I need to do. But I'm at the point where I'm like, I just need to like I need to mainline the story, finish that before I tidy everything up. So yeah, we'll get there though.
I don't know too much about what's going on in Spider-Man 2, but from what I understand, it's both Peter Parker and Miles Morales. And
correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Are you swapping between them?
Yeah, so the first game was Peter Parker,
right? And then there was a Miles Morales,
and then
game,
there was a Miles Morales game where Peter goes on holiday, and then that's the explanation as to why you're just Miles. Okay, fine, sure, whatever. And then
he needs a break.
So what you can do is there are specific things that need to be done by one Spider-Man. So like obviously the storyline with Miles' mum has to happen with Miles, right? It doesn't make any sense for it to be Peter, and the stuff with Mary Jane has to be done with Peter. Can't be done with Miles. And there's like a few kind of like side stuff, like there's a one of the like collectibles thing is to do with Peter's job, and one of them is to do with Miles's uncle, and so those obviously need to be done with that Spider-Man. But other than that,
I mean, can't be with Peter's uncle, but am I allowed to say that? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Oof, oh my. But other than that, you can just like freely switch between the Spider-Man.
That's cool.
So you're floating around, and you can just like pause the game and press square and switch to the other one, and they'll pop in, and you can do whatever you want. So I have generally just been going through the game, because obviously like the story switches you between them for different parts of the story.
Sure.
So I've just kind of continued with whatever Spider-Man they've dropped me in on until they then switch me, just because I felt like that's the way that kind of felt most natural to me. Mm-hmm. But it's been quite enjoyable doing that. Obviously they have different powers, they're not exactly the same, and they do some things that I'm not going to spoil to kind of level Peter up, because obviously Miles has his electricity powers, which makes him objectively better than Peter.
Didn't even know.
Oh, you don't know
this?
Was a thing? Yeah, so Miles can go invisible. First of all,
what?
He can go.
I didn't know this.
Yeah,
no.
Oh my word. There's so much Spider-Man lore you don't know. So Miles can go invisible, but he also has electricity powers, so he can like zap people and stuff like that, which Peter obviously doesn't have.
What kind of spider did that come from? Sorry.
One from a different reality. No, I'm not even joking.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's serious. 100%. Anyway, not important. How far deep do we go into this? But that makes him objectively better.
Yeah, I can see that.
To play as than Peter Parker.
Sure.
So they had to do something to level up Peter Parker. And I'm not going to say what that is, but they do it, and it feels great. Like you don't feel like you need to be Miles. It doesn't feel like he's automatically better than Miles. I think they've balanced it really well, so you feel like you can be either of them.
Okay.
And it will be interesting to see whether those powers continue on to the next game. I'll be interested to see what they do then. But it's been good fun.
I don't know how I would know this is a spoiler, but I thought I had seen, and maybe I'm like crossing the wires between something else Spider-Man, but does Peter is like the symbiote or whatever not in
Venom?
Yeah, like Venom's like
Venom is in this game, correct?
Does Peter get? Because there's like a symbiote suit for Peter too, isn't there? Like.
All right, so we're just really spoiling this, then, are we?
I don't know. Is it? I thought this was in the trailer.
I mean, well,
but also I don't know for sure.
In the trailer, sure,
okay.
But it doesn't really talk about what that means.
Because that's a thing that's existed in Spider-Man lore for like a while, right? Is that at some point Spider-Man has like a symbiote like suit, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much.
Okay, all right. We can
wanna
cut
say
all this out too.
I
We
mean,
don't want to spoil anything.
people who know a lot of Spider-Man lore are going to be able to predict a lot of this stuff.
Okay, sure.
Right, like it's not fresh and new, but it's still fun to do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people aren't that deep into Spider-Man lore. What I will say is one really annoying thing. So yeah, Venom's in this game. Do you know what Miles' electricity powers are called?
Electricity powers?
No, they're called Venom.
Oh, wait, what?
He calls
I'm
them
confused.
Venom.
Wait, why
His
does
Venom powers? I don't know why.
Oh, that's weird.
So there's 2 Venoms in this game, and it's driving me insane.
What a weird decision.
Also, my other annoyance with this game, right? I love the game, but my other annoyance is they just refer to each other as Spider-Man. So you'll be like, oh, hey, Spider-Man.
What?
Oh, hey, Spider-Man. So they're constantly just referring to Spider-Man when they're talking. And it gets worse because the subtitles will say Spider-Man is saying this. So it'll say Spider-Man : and then what he says.
No way.
But you're like, which one? But they try and deal with that by having a little face, right? So there's 2 little faces.
Oh,
right? But
I
it's
see.
off the mask. But the problem is,
They're both
do you know what
wearing
the
masks.
masks are? The masks are red and black or black and red.
Okay.
And these are teeny tiny little images on a 40-inch screen 12 feet away from me. I can't figure out which one it is.
Yeah,
It's
this
dreadful.
seems like an oversight a little bit.
It's real bad. And I'd like turned the subtitle size up to max because I'm like, I like reading subtitles. It helps me understand what's. But like the
I do
picture's still
too.
tiny.
Same boat.
Why is the picture so tiny?
Yeah.
And also, you change their suits, right? Nobody stays in the default suits in this game. That's part of the fun of it, is changing your suits.
Yeah.
So I needed to, I'm not, part of my problem is that I have a very specific aesthetic of Spider-Man suit that I like, but I can't put them both in the same aesthetic because then I can't figure out whose is who. So I have to decide that this is the color for Peter and this is the color for Miles, and I've had to kind of stick with that so that I can tell them apart on screen.
What a nightmare.
I know. But it is really fun. It's a really fun game. It has done the same thing, in my opinion, for Spider-Man games that Tears of the Kingdom did for Zelda games. I think it has taken a game and done what you think is basically the same thing, but then layered so much more on top of it that it feels so good.
Yeah. Huh. It looks really good. It seems like the reaction to it has been very good. I just saw today, I saw a TikTok that was somebody saying like, I don't care what you say, Miles and Morales and Peter Parker are my friends. They're real people. They're my friends. We're best friends. They're the boys.
Yeah.
Like, and I think, just saying that like the characters are done so well that it feels like they're,
Yeah, definitely.
But I, not knowing really much about Spider-Man, there is a part of me that wants to play it purely out of like seeing how much like open world traversal there is for like, I'm a big sucker for when there's like true to life in-game recreations of like real locations.
Yeah.
So like being able to traverse New York City, I feel like would be very fun.
So have you not played any Spider-Man game?
I have not. No,
even like the early 2000s ones or anything. The Tobey Maguire tie-in.
Not really that I can remember. I mean, I do. I've seen people play them, and I've seen like there's again on TikTok. There's like occasionally I'll see a TikTok live of somebody that's just like no camera or anything. It's just their gameplay of them.
Yeah.
Swinging as Spider-Man, and I'm assuming the like previous one, but.
It's absolutely incredible, Micah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no traversal in another game that is as fun as this. And they added extra stuff on to what the games had before to make it even more... Like, you have a wingsuit now, so you can fly. So you can, like, swing and, like, go high, and then you fly in your wingsuit, and you can, like, you're gliding, right? You're not flying, but you can glide for ages, and there's, like, slipstreams around the city, so you can like go so fast through the city if you catch the right
that sounds
slipstream.
Awesome.
and they've added in like a bunch of stuff, like you can like surf on the water for a short period of time and then jump back up and stuff like that. Like it's just, there's so much in it. It's so fun. It's just incredible.
Yeah,
and it's like there's
awesome.
also stuff like you might have seen. Have you seen like any of the NPC conversations that people have posted?
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen any of the NPC stuff.
There's like,
Or, cutscenes
full on 10, 15, 20-minute conversations that these NPCs have.
Oh,
If you,
like
just
not like
drop down
cutscenes,
onto the
it's just
street.
like
No,
listening to people.
if you just drop down and there's two people talking, they will have a full-on conversation for 15 minutes about the most random stuff.
That's amazing.
But it makes sense. It's incredible. Like there's ones that I've seen which is like, people who were in a work site and they were complaining about their boss, and then there were people who were talking about like their children, and then there's just so many, and it's wild.
Wow.
I cannot imagine. Like it just feels like they've gotten in some voice actors and said riff on this, and they've just spent 20 minutes talking about it.
Yeah,
But
I can
it's
imagine that
incredible.
would be the best way to do that too.
Yeah.
Is to just have people like.
But they're everywhere.
That's
I
awesome.
don't understand how they've done it.
Who's the? Is it
So
Rocksteady as a
much.
developer?
It's not. It's Insomniac.
Oh, Insomniac. Okay.
So it's incredible, and it's also, they're doing a Wolverine game as well, coming out in we don't know when,
Oh,
but
okay,
presumably like 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's made me really excited
I'm
for
sure
that
that's gonna be
like
good.
I'm just well, I just say so having so much fun. And we probably don't need to get into a huge conversation about this, but also been playing the watermelon game,
Yep.
Suika game or whatever they call it.
I think everybody at least has touched it at some point or seen it.
It's good fun. If you haven't played it, if you haven't seen it, go play it. Go watch a video of it. It's good fun.
And it's like, what did you say, $2? I bought it when it was on the Japanese eShop, so it was like, I don't know,
1,000 yen or
yeah,
something.
it was like 200
I
yen
don't
or
even
something.
know is what that means.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cheap. It's like $2 on the eShop, on the
Yeah,
North
it's
American
very
shop.
cheap and loads of fun. I play it a couple times a day. It's good fun.
It's very good. Yeah, there's
this
not a
is-
whole lot to say about Watermelon Game. You drop fruits into a bucket and they combine if you match them, and
Yeah,
just don't overflow the bucket, and that's it.
it's like physics version of Candy Crush or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Merge. What's the Merge?
It
Merge
reminds me
games?
of, there's some like old arcade game, I can't remember what it was, where you'd like shoot balls at each other, and if you hit the same colored balls, then they would combine into like a different color. And it was like
I
that
think there's
same.
there's a few different games that have done a similar sort of thing. This just does it really nicely,
Yeah.
and the physics aspect of it changes the game entirely.
Yes.
Because like you drop one and it bounces off stuff, and you don't know for certain where it's going to go, so it adds a little bit of, just randomness to that as well,
Right.
which is fun. Oh, Micah, this isn't going to be a short episode, is it?
No, I guess not.
We're gonna talk about some news after half an hour. So first of all, we get Disney Dreamlight Valley. So before we get into the brand new news about this, I just need to talk to you, Micah. So had you seen that the game's no longer going to be free to play?
I did. You
How'd
are
you
actually not the only person to have reached out to me after the news dropped.
How do you feel?
To ask me how I felt about it. Well, I mean, I feel like, if I had to pay for it, then everybody else should. I'm just kidding.
Justice.
It's kind of a weird move to like start something and say like it's free to play, because usually
Or it's going
the
to
other
be free to
it's
play.
the other way around,
Yeah.
right? Like something is paid for. It's like a paid experience, and then eventually when it's not performing the way that they want it to anymore, then they move it to free to play.
Yeah.
That's usually the way it goes, not the other way around where it starts free to play and they're like, actually, you know what, we're going to charge money for this.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird
It's
thing,
kind of
but
it's also a bit weird because like it never was and never is and isn't going to be now free to play.
Right.
Like the weird thing is it's not gone free to play to paid. It's gone from paid but will be free to play to actually no, we're not going to be free to play.
yeah, yes, like free to play, but you have to pay for like stuff to get access to it anyways. Like
It's wild. It's weird.
yeah,
It's weird.
it is a
but
weird thing. I don't really know how I feel other than that. Like it seems like a weird choice for them.
I mean, you must be less frustrated about buying it now.
Now my concern is, are they going to charge me again for the actual game, since everything that I bought was like basically cosmetic stuff and currency. Will there be an actual? Okay, all right.
So I guess what I should say, just a quick summary for people who haven't listened. So the game is going to come out of early access on the 5th of December. There'll be a new update at that point. We got more details about that last week, so I'll detail. We'll go over that in a minute. But your early access will continue on, and in fact, you will get extra stuff. Because you were early access.
Okay.
So you will, you get like, there's a few extra cosmetics, including you get a capybara. So, there we go.
Now I'm not upset at all. I was a little bit upset, but now I'm not.
But they are doing paid DLCs, which we'll get into in a bit.
I'm not like opposed to that, but I'm curious to see I know we have a roadmap that we're going to look at, but I'm curious to see how frequent paid is going to come into play, because that can kind of ruin the experience pretty quickly.
Yes. Yeah. So, a couple small things first. So, first of all, the soundtrack for Disney Dreamlight Valley is out. You can go stream it or buy it now. So that's a thing.
That's also interesting thing, because I don't know. That's not. Like,
I feel like it's a pretty standard thing for games now.
Yeah, I suppose so. I feel like the standard thing is like they're available, or like you get the soundtrack with the game or something, and not like the soundtrack's out and you can buy it if you want. I don't know. Maybe that's. Yeah. And I don't know that there was anything really like distinct about the Dreamlight Valley soundtrack that had me like, oh, I gotta get this.
No,
I don't know.
It's no Stardew Valley soundtrack.
Yeah. That, on the other hand, I'll pay it over and over for
that. So the 5th of December update, so the 1.0 update, if you will, has been detailed a little bit. So Jack Skellington will be coming. Weird that this is coming. I guess maybe it makes sense it's coming between Halloween and Christmas, but I feel like, why isn't this out just before Halloween? I don't know.
I just had this conversation about Nightmare Before Christmas with someone that I work with, who said that Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas movie and not a Halloween movie, and I argued that it's both.
It's both. Of course it's both.
But then there were other people that agreed with them that said, yeah, it's more of a Christmas movie than it is a Halloween movie. Which, it's
literally both.
It's actually both.
It's literally both. This is not a Die Hard thing, and I'm not going to have that argument, because my argument about Die Hard is, I don't care, shut up. Right? But
this is explicitly both.
Half Halloween, half Christmas. It's about both holidays.
Thank you. I feel vindicated.
People feel this need to categorize things so that they feel they can watch it at Christmas, right? I think, and it's like, you can watch it at Christmas, you can watch it at Halloween. It's both. I mean, you can watch it whenever you want.
Watch it whenever you want. Yeah.
But no one's gonna look at. I watched Nightmare. I hadn't watched Nightmare Before Christmas before this year.
Oh, really?
Just hadn't got around to it, so I watched it.
Thoughts?
A few days before Halloween. Really liked it. It was good fun.
Good. It's a good movie.
Good sound. Some of the songs are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It starts out particularly well. It's comes out of the gate crashing. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Very weird. I enjoyed it. Anyway, yeah. So Jack Skellington coming to Disney Dreamlight Valley, and also multiplayer. So if you really want multiplayer, I'm not going to play multiplayer. Don't make me play multiplayer. But if you want that, that's when it's coming.
Can't imagine. I'm curious about that. I can't imagine the multiplayer being super, super smooth based on the gameplay. But I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like it's going to be basically Animal Crossing multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like Stardew Valley multiplayer or anything like that. It's going to be visiting someone's village to see what they've done.
Because there's, they say in the, what's the wording for that?
Enter the Valleyverse with your friends.
Oh, see, when I had originally read it, I thought maybe that it was like interacting with Jack Skellington in the Valleyverse with your friends, as if you can do whatever that story content is with them. But maybe I just read that wrong.
I don't. So this update also introduces the highly anticipated multiplayer mode, allowing you and up to 3 friends to visit each other's valleys. Oh, there you go. Visit each other's valleys.
Okay, yeah.
From showing off your eye for design to checking Scrooge McDuck's stock in another valley. It's Animal Crossing.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. That I can see a little bit more than like... Because when I read it, I thought it was, you could do story content with your friends, and that, to me, felt like that would be a very not smooth experience.
Yeah,
but if it's just come check out my valley, I can see that.
Perhaps more exciting is the fact that the multiplayer mode would continue to evolve over time as new ways to interact with your friends are added in future updates. Okay, we'll deal with them when they come.
Yeah,
basically the launch version
when they're
is basically what Animal Crossing does.
When they're on a content roadmap, then we'll look at it.
yeah. Give us the details. So then we've had more information about the paid DLC. So we've got a content roadmap with a lot of stuff in this.
Yeah.
I'll link this in the show notes so you can go have a look at it. But we have detailed 5 free updates and 3, I'm pretty sure, 3 of the same paid DLC updates. So this is, I think, one pack that you pay for and you get these 3 updates. I don't think these are 3 separate paid things.
Okay.
Because it's all part of one story, basically.
Oh, sure.
So this paid expansion, which is called A Rift in Time, you visit a place called Eternity Isle, and you meet Rapunzel, Gaston, and Eve, and go through some adventures with them. And then the spring 2024 says... explore Ancient's Landing to uncover more of its secrets and befriend a very lucky villager. And you also see in that picture Gaston, Eve, and Rapunzel.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it says a very lucky villager is.
I don't know.
I couldn't figure out from that. I don't have enough Disney knowledge based on whatever that door is, to maybe like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Figure out, but.
And then summer 2024, it says foil Jafar's schemes and fix the rift in time. So that feels to me like 3 parts of this one paid DLC.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I think that you're totally right. And obviously, introduction of Aladdin characters to the.
Yes, yeah. So Jafar being very clearly he's the big baddie of this DLC.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting. Interesting that Jafar is the first Aladdin character.
And also that it's not like sticking to one series, like one movie.
Yeah.
It's like Rapunzel, Gaston, Eve versus Jafar. It's not like
and one other person that we don't know who yet. It's
a
like
mystery character.
Wild. Oh yeah, actually it does say, so in these mysterious lands you will embark on a new main story involving Jafar and the very fabric of time itself, taking place across 3 acts, all included in the expansion purchase. So yeah, confirmation that those 3 updates between December and summer will be the one purchase, which is $30, I think.
It's not too bad.
It's not.
If it's like a yearly thing, like a yearly expansion purchase, or like even, half a year or whatever, which it seems like that probably they're doing here, December 5th to summer 2024. It's like a 6 months of content for like $30. I guess that's not.
It's not terrible.
Bad.
It's not terrible. We'll see how it. And I think on top of that, they are then obviously doing these other free updates.
Right.
So obviously we've got the 1.0 release in December, which gives you Jack Skellington and the multiplayer, and then late winter. It says 2024. It's a very confusing saying winter 2024. What it means is January or February, right?
Of 2024.
Yeah, it was just like, don't word it like that. Like, this is just whatever. That is obviously some Monsters Inc. related stuff. We've got Mike Wazowski, and it says scream with excitement as a new realm door opens. And then we've got early spring 2024. A vibrant new villager moves to the valley. I have no idea who that is.
I don't either. I was trying to figure that out, but there's like a Daisy Duck on the front, on the like mast of that ship.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what that. I don't know if this is like again, not sure I have the Disney knowledge to know what that's from, but I'm sure it's from some specific Mickey Mouse movie or, episode or whatever, something. I'm sure it's from something.
They're getting
really
very
specific.
vague at this point, realistically, right?
Yeah.
Because then we've got late spring 2024, and it just says, you don't find a realm like this every dynasty.
Which,
and you're like, oh, for goodness sake, where are we going with this? My word. Like, someone will know this because there's some insane fan.
I feel like that's
everything.
Mulan. Is that not
based on
the word dynasty?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like that's probably Mulan. But they're just doing like a.
Do the flowers relate to that? There's flowers coming out the door.
I don't know.
I feel like a Taylor Swift fan right now.
Because
and then we've got
the Mulan is set in the Northern Wei dynasty.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
And then we've got summer 2024, which that's the Princess and the Frog, right? That picture is I can't remember her name. I've never seen it.
Who's the princess name? Shoot, Princess I forgot.
Tiana. Good timing there. Both Googling at the same time.
And I think maybe, I don't know what those are, maybe beignets, which are like the, that like French pastry thing.
The French pastry thing. I think a lot of French stuff is pastry.
But it's also like, it's like a fritter, but it's like a, also like New Orleans Cajun kind of, I don't know.
So that's 5 updates, 5 free updates in the same time that we're getting the 3 parts of the 1 paid DLC. So what I do have one small issue still that with this not free to play thing and having paid DLC is that they're still going to have their in-game currency that you have to pay for as well, which just like you can buy the game, you can buy the DLC, and you can also buy a random currency in the game. And it just feels like they're, double dipping there. Like, do one or the other. It doesn't feel really great.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess my first thought was that it feels similar to like, I don't know, like Destiny or something, where it's like you have a like expansion that you pay for, and then they do like event stuff throughout that like season, quote unquote, that like expansion season where it's free stuff. And you have to like still buy the main game and then the expansions. So like there is precedent for it. It just is a really weird move to go from like it's going to be free to play to it's not free to play. Also, we're going to charge you for it, but also there's going to be paid expansions for it too. Like it's like doubling down on charging for it. Like, interesting choice, but I don't know. Especially interesting considering that I don't feel like it's a very like widely talked about game. I feel like the fan base is not massive for Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it seems like a weird move to like.
A lot of that may well be due to being early access, right? And let's see what happens over the next couple of months, right? Like there might be a massive push for it. Like you never know what could happen with these things, but
I didn't realize that Gameloft was the developer for it.
Yeah.
They are also the developer for Speedstorm.
They are.
So they must. I don't know. Maybe Disney is just buying them out or something.
Well, I think they're still doing a lot of other stuff. But it's interesting that they kept free to play with Speedstorm and they've not done it.
Well, so far. we'll see what happens.
It's out of early access and it is free to play. Disney Dreamlight Valley has not been and is not going to be free to play now.
Which is also weird because they're on like season 4 of Speedstorm. Like they counted, the like early access seasons as like seasons 1 on. So I don't know. Just weird decisions all around.
Just to add to the confusion in purchases, because as we mentioned last episode, there are about 7 different ways to buy this game. It's also going to have an Apple Arcade version, which will be obviously included in Apple Arcade. So if you have Apple Arcade, you can get the game for free. Just to add more confusion to this, that will not have cross-save.
Oh, good.
So it is unique to Apple Arcade, but it will have cross-play.
Okay.
So you can play multiplayer between Apple Arcade and the normal version, but you can't play your same save across Apple Arcade and the normal version.
Interesting decision.
Yeah, well, so here's what I think is interesting. So we don't know for certain. So the way that Apple Arcade stuff works is there are no in-app purchases. That is a rule around Apple Arcade. You can't have in-app purchases.
Yeah.
Now, normally what that means is you can get everything in the game for free, but they haven't detailed specific. The wording is vague as to whether the stuff in the Star Paths and the Premium Shop are accessible at all or not.
I would bet. This is just a guess. This is a gamble, but I would bet that it's probably all free. It's probably all included.
Yeah,
and that is why you can't connect your save to other things, because then that would just give you the ability to access all of that stuff on your PlayStation or your Switch or whatever, where you are only actually getting that stuff for free because it's Apple Arcade.
That is exactly my theory as well. Because if you enabled cross save between them, you pay for 1 month of Apple Arcade, you get everything for free, and then you just play it on the normal game. Right? Like, there's no way they would do that.
Yep. Yeah, because that's the other thing, is that like you're paying monthly for Apple Arcade, so it's not like you pay a one-time $30 charge for 6 months of content. You're paying, I don't know, $10 plus whatever. Exactly,
which is why they do this thing of not having in-app purchases for these games. But yeah, so here's the wording just in case. So it says, this version, exclusive to Apple Arcade, will get you all the latest story updates without seasonal Star Paths or the Premium Shop. Now that, I think what that's saying is you will get everything and not have to pay for it. But the fact that it says without seasonal Star Paths or the Premium Shop, does that mean you get the content from the Star Paths and the Premium Shop, but without those features existing? You just have to get them in a different... I don't know. I don't think we're going to know until the game releases, which is releasing the same day as the game comes out of early access. I mean, I hadn't purchased the game before because when we've talked about it before, I played it on Game Pass, because I had Game Pass, and I was like, I don't really want to buy this game when it's coming free to play, so let's play through it Game Pass.
Yeah. And so there wasn't ever really an option to play it without paying some kind of money for it, right?
There was not.
Even on Steam, there wasn't. Was there like an early access version that was like not?
No, it was all paid.
Paid to access? Okay.
No, it was all paid. Yeah, so the closest is if you have Game Pass, then you got it essentially for free, but you're still paying for Game Pass. So like, it's free in the same way any game in Game Pass is free, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I've purchased it for Switch now. My annoyance, just my final thought about this, my final annoyance of free to play is not that I have to pay for it. It's that if I want to play it on multiple platforms, I have to buy it twice. That's the annoying thing.
Yes.
And so I don't get to try it out on Steam Deck and try it out on Switch and see which one works best. I just have to decide. So I just decided to buy it on Switch, and that's that. So,
which I don't know how you would get around that, right? Because like in order to have their game on that platform, they have to pay some whatever. So I'm curious how you can handle that.
There are ways to do it, right? You can have purchasing things, because all these games have in-app purchases for some things, right? Like if you take like a Fall Guys or what's the shitty one?
Oh yeah,
Fortnite.
if it's a free to play game, yes.
But
then
purchasing is still purchasing, right? So if you purchase on one platform, that's available on another. So you could absolutely do, right? You can download the game for free, but you have to then do an in-app purchase to actually play the game, and then that unlocks on your account, which then you can play. You could absolutely do that. They're not, obviously, maybe it's possible that the content, the stores would go, you're not allowed to do that. It's possible,
right?
But like technically that would be possible to do. But anyway, we've talked about this game enough. Roots of Pacha. They have. I sound like a pirate there. They have an update coming, a 1.1 update, which also will coincide with the PlayStation and Switch release, which will include the 1.1 update in that. So there we go. That is on the 28th of November, so the end of this month. And Xbox is coming next year, so soz. I wonder whether it's possible that that's like this is just speculation. That could be like timing wise, maybe they want to be in Game Pass and that's when they need to release for that or something like that. It could be, or it could just be that they've had some issues with the Xbox development. Who knows?
It could be that too. Yeah, it could just be that there's some kind of like process that they have to go through this longer with the Xbox. I don't know. That's just kind of how it goes these days, I feel like. Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff in the update. Probably most things won't matter to people who haven't played the game. One interesting thing is they've added divorces into the game. So they're calling it breaking a union, because obviously it's not marriage, because it's like whatever. Yeah, that's an interesting addition, because usually it's the other way around. They're like adding marriage into the game, but
a bunch of other things as well, including a way to get your own meat and mushroom and herbs, some new cutscenes, lots of stuff. If you like that game, it looks like a pretty good update. I presume you haven't played this.
No, I have not.
It's one of these games where it's like, it's on my list because it does look interesting and I probably do want to play it, but my word, there's so many games to play.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's really just got to pick and choose at this point.
The Ooblets 1.4 update is out now. So if you wanted your Ooblets in little carts, in Oobmobiles, now you can.
Oobmobiles? Is that the official name?
That is their official name.
I like that.
Oobmobiles. I don't really know what to say. There's a department of Ooblet vehicles.
I love the way their brains work.
Your Ooblets need to be level 10 to get a license.
God, what a unique. Nobody's doing it like them.
I love this game so much. I understand
really
why some people don't like it, but I love this game so much. I need to... There's been quite a few stuff since I played it last, so I really ought to jump back in and finish up what they've got. I mean, that's basically the only thing they added into that update, so there we go. Everdream Valley also have an update coming, the big November update, 1.6. It is out now. There's owls, new sheep. They've got a lawnmower.
New sheep?
New breed of sheep.
Oh.
Butterfly houses, more flowers, pond for your ducks. There's lots of stuff if you're playing this game. I haven't played this game either. I love that this was meant to be the big October update, but they didn't get it out in October, so now it's just big November update with a big scratch out on the October.
Yeah. It looks pretty though. I just never really been on my radar.
Yeah.
It's a nice looking game.
Yeah. Micah, I didn't see this coming. There's a Slime Rancher 2 update. There's an update to Slime Rancher 2.
I'm blown away by that. I saw that in the notes and had to double take.
Yeah, am I reading this correctly? This is the Come Rain or Slime update, which, by the way, I love that. And it is coming out on the 14th of November. Expect to see our new dynamic weather system and the return of fan favourites The Tangle and Dervish Slimes.
I don't know what that means. Not enough Slime Rancher knowledge to know what that means. But
not deep in the Slime Rancher lore.
Not enough, I guess. I gotta brush up on my Slime Rancher before this big update.
Yeah,
weather system. That's like also like weird thing to be their big update is that they just added a weather system.
But it's like, I think this is this game is still in early access apparently.
Oh, okay. Well, now it makes sense. I didn't realize that either.
Well,
Now it's starting to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's been in early access for over a year now.
That's a long time, yeah.
I didn't realize that it was still in early access. Well, there you go. So I don't know what to say. I guess what I will say is that Echoes of the Plum Grove, their Kickstarter is now live and is already funded. I mean, they did have like a $5,000 goal. It's not a very big one, but yeah. Have you looked into this game?
I have not. Echoes of the Plum Grove. I have not heard of this.
Oh my word. This game. We're pretty sure there's murder in this game.
Oh. You could have fooled me from the page art, the Kickstarter page art.
This is very. I described this last week. It's very Paper Mario-esque.
It is, yeah.
That's basically what it is. But there's a bit. I need to find it. There's a bit which basically says like get to know people and bring them onto your side, and if not, there's other persuasive tactics, and then it shows a funeral.
What? Holy cow!
I think it was on the Steam page I saw that. Let me just find it. So Echoes of the Plum Grove on Steam says... so there's a little bit that says make friends or enemies, and it's like over an image of a funeral.
That's crazy. On the Kickstarter page, it shows a funeral, and it just says how talks about how death comes for everyone, and there's no telling when someone will pass on. So cherish the time you have with them while you do. That's I didn't need existential crisis to go with my.
Winter brings new levels of danger to players. With your very survival at stake, you will have to work your land, fish the sea, cook. Let me tell you, what did we need? What did cottagecore games need? More death, apparently. Yeah. more stress.
Death, and maybe we could put taxes in there too.
You can die. You can die by not sleeping in this game.
Oh.
Make sure you keep your sleep meter full by sleeping or your hunger meter full by eating. If you allow either to empty, your character will meet an unfortunate end.
It's a good thing that this isn't realistic, because my sleep meter has long since been depleted.
Where's the persuasive bit? I need to find that because it was really odd wording. Oh yeah, here it is. It's in the description for the Steam app. So, a new life awaits in Honeywood. Build a thriving community that will last generations in this cozy farm simulator. Farm, socialize, make friends, cook, craft, forage, and uncover the secrets of the island. If someone doesn't want to be friends, there are always other means.
Whoa. Yeah, that's something.
I am fascinated by this. I've backed it on Kickstarter, right? Like this was a no-brainer for me. Yeah. I'm fascinated by this. Like, I really hope this isn't just like we're going to make it sound more interesting than it is, and it just ends up being like, oh, don't be friends then, right? Like,
yeah.
I really like if you can murder people in this game. I really hope you can murder people in this game. I didn't think I needed. That's not something I ever considered I would want.
Al's bloodthirst needs to be quenched.
But now I want it. Now that they've mentioned it, now I want it.
There was I'm not going to go off on a huge tangent here because I can already feel that I
think I know what you're going to say.
But there was an internet mystery, I guess, for a long time about a farming game that had some kind of like murder and cover-up plot in it.
Yes.
That people just could not figure out what it was or what it came from.
Existed.
If it even existed. There's this whole, I watched a video on it where they just did a whole breakdown of like all of the forum posts and everybody trying to find this game and see if it's real and everything. So there is definitely a market for that. For farming sim plus murder plot.
So the interesting thing is there is someone making one now. It's called Grave Seasons.
Yeah.
And it's
Which was a
it's
response directly to that, right?
I think so, yeah. It's a murder mystery farming game.
Yeah.
So anybody could be the murderer and you have to figure out who they are. So yeah, that does exist, and I'm excited for when that eventually comes out. I've not heard anything for quite a while now, but yeah.
This has a little bit of like an uncanny, I don't know. It's almost like Cabbage Patch Kids kind of character art. That there's like a little bit of a, maybe it's because my initial impression of it is that maybe also murder in the game, that it's adding to the slight creepiness factor of the character art. But
I think before that you're like, oh, it's just a cute little kind of farming game in the style of Paper Mario.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm sorry, what, you might be able to murder in this game? Well, that changes everything. Like, everything becomes creepy then.
Yeah, it's just, it's that everyone is smiling. They've all got, like, static smiles, and they also have, like, the proportions of, like, Cabbage Patch Kids, which are pretty creepy looking.
In the funeral image on Steam, there's one person smiling in the crowd. Just saying. Just saying.
I'm gonna have to tune in for this one, I think.
So yeah, we'll keep you up to date on that game, but there we go. Snacko, speaking of games that we're excited about, I didn't say that, but there we go. Snacko is going to come to early access. So they originally weren't going to do this, but they decided that they want to, so it's fine. Go for it. They haven't said when early access is coming, but I suspect it'll be soon. I wouldn't be surprised if it was this year, if not like really early next year.
Yeah.
Because 1.0, they've said, will release next year on both PC and console. They haven't detailed what consoles, but yeah. So that's really all there is to that. I'm still very excited for this game.
Yes. They update so frequently on what they're doing, what they're working on. They can do whatever. Hey, they can take however long they need, in my opinion. I have played they're currently doing, I think right now, the Kickstarter beta is going on.
Correct, yeah.
And I haven't played it yet since this one, because I've been out of the country, but the first Kickstarter beta or alpha that they did or whatever it was a lot of fun. I'm very excited to see how much things have changed since then.
Yeah.
Because I know there is a lot that has changed.
Yeah, and like I didn't do the alpha or beta on Kickstarter, so I haven't played them, but I did play a really early build in, when was that? 2019? 2020? Something like that. So it's been years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see what happened. Really excited to see how things have changed, because even back then it felt really good and it felt really well put together.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine how much better it's going to be now. I just
love that game so much already. Just as much as I've played of it, I already love that game a lot. So I'm very excited to be able to play it on, I don't know, Switch or whatever handheld. I'm sure I can play the beta and figure out how to play the beta on the Steam Deck, but
yeah, well, it's through
more complicated experience than just being able to load it up directly from the store.
Well, it will be it'll be early, because the early access will be easier, because obviously that will just be through Steam,
right? Yeah. So
you could just wait for the early access, because I don't think it'll be that long.
Yeah, and I know that the beta went through Steam, but it was like a
complicated
non-Steam
more
key
awkward.
or whatever it is. Yeah. So I don't know.
A couple small things just before we finish. So, context to this one, obviously, My Time at Sandrock, the sequel to My Time at Portia, just came out last week, I think. And they've updated My Time at Portia. So what they say is, we've used the optimization techniques we learned while porting My Time at Sandrock, and applied them to Portia. Check out the changes. So this is for the Switch version specifically. And I will say the it is very significant difference. I will also say it still takes 6 seconds to load the world when you leave a building. So, I mean, it's better. It is a 50% improvement.
Sure.
But it's still very slow.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I didn't even realize that it was happening, but I did see every now and then I'll go and check the eShop, see what came out recently. And I did see that My Time at Sandrock was in there, and there's a little bit of like oh yeah.
Don't do it, Micah.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was there. I mean, I'm not going to because of my experiences, but
yeah,
that's my experiences. It's not.
I'm glad that some people liked My Time at Portia, and I'm glad that people are enjoying My Time at Sandrock, but I'm not doing it. I can't do it again.
I had a lot of enjoyment in My Time at Portia. It's mostly just the Switch port of it that I was not having the greatest time with.
Yeah, whereas fundamentally, I just didn't enjoy the crafting.
Yeah,
which was my massive thing, which is a big flaw in a game that is a crafting game. It's like saying you don't like the farming in a farming game, right? Like you're never going to enjoy that game in that case.
True.
And Concerned Ape has posted something.
I feel like this always happens. I feel like every time I'm on, there's like a cryptic Concerned Ape tweet.
It's not just every time you're on. It feels like every single episode for the last 3 months there's been something. What is this? This is a fruit of some kind. A blue fruit. Maybe is a Joja-based thing. I don't know. But it has a face and sunglasses. What is happening?
That's the cool fruit.
Is it Joja Berry? Is he alive?
Cool guy fruit.
I don't know what to make of this. Is it definitely Stardew Valley? Is it Haunted Chocolatier?
Someone in the replies says Broberry. Someone also said Mr. Coolberry. I did not read that before I said that out loud.
I don't...
Yeah, someone said Forbidden Joja Berry. I don't know.
This is...
I almost just wish that it's like just they made some pixel art that they thought was fun and posted it without context.
The question is this better or worse than the tweet last week, which was just wild horseradish juice?
Top contenders both.
Oh, he must just have so much fun just posting these random things.
Fruit with the sunglasses is pretty good, though. I'm pretty happy about that.
Oh, my word. Right. That's the news. What a wild journey. Cool. Shall we talk about this game?
Yeah.
Harvest Moon, The Winds of Anthos.
Let's do it.
Oh, Micah, I'm
That's
tired.
a good way to start it.
I'm so tired. So I have so many thoughts. The stuff that I've written down is the stuff that I wrote down on the first day I played this game. But I've just had so many thoughts the last few days trying to form them. Okay, in the year 2023, farming game developers, you need to give me a reason to play your game instead of Stardew Valley. Right? That's still where we are. Stardew Valley is still an incredible game, and it is a cozy, comfy place to live. And you need to give me a good reason to play it. Fae Farm gave me a reason to play it with its incredible traversal. Other games like you've got what's it called? My word.
My Time at Portia.
Roots of no, My Time at Portia did not give me a reason to play it. Roots of Pacha gave me a reason to play it because it was interesting, different being, Stone Age type thing. Ooblets give me a reason to play it because it's just so ridiculous and cute. Snackle gives me a reason to play it because cats.
Yes.
I
also
don't know what this game is trying to do to make me play it. And I just... This game...
Can real quick before we start talking about the actual game, can I just give my first experience with the game? So we were in talks about doing this episode
months ago
before the game had actually come out. The timing was a little bit wonky because it released like a couple days before I was supposed to leave for Japan. So that doesn't really leave a window of time to record an episode about it. Also, not a whole lot of time to be able to play it if we're recording before I leave. So we opted to record it after I got back. And the game came out. I was kind of, excited in that, like, it's something that I'm looking forward to looking into. Like, I'm excited about the idea of inspecting this new Harvest Moon. Not that I'm actually excited for the game itself, just I'm looking forward to the experience.
Well, especially considering what the previous one was. That was fun in its own way.
Yes. I was a big selling factor of this game for me, as has been the case with Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon in the past, was that if you pre-ordered it, you got a cow plush that I was very excited about. The release date came, and my game had not shipped. And I instead got an email from Amazon that said something along the lines of, we don't know when it's going to ship, and we'll send you an email when it will. We'll keep you updated, which is never a good sign.
Nope.
So then I went to social media to see what other people's experiences were, and it was just people talking about how they had gotten their game, but they did not receive the cow plush.
Oh, no.
And eventually when people started getting them, there were more people saying that they were not getting the cow plush and that they just did not have the cow plush anymore. There also is a point where you could go on their website, the like Natsume website, and just buy the plush. So I kind of wonder if they just sold them all and then didn't have enough for the pre-orders.
Well, and the problem is that pre-order bonuses are always while stocks last. You're never guaranteed one. So if they don't send you one, there's nothing you can do.
And if you're just flat out selling them for like, I don't know what it was, $10 or something, then the likelihood that people are you're going to have enough for your pre-orders is probably pretty low. So not the greatest experience, but so I wound up canceling the pre-order and just I had some eShop credit and stuff that I had accrued. Always, by the way, redeem your gold coins from your physical software when you buy it. Always do that, because you get gold coins and you can accrue a lot pretty quickly, and then you can get free stuff on the eShop. Well, not free, but you get it.
I mean, with each one you get 50 gold coins, which is worth 50 cents or 50 pence, wherever you are. Like that adds up.
It does add up over time. And so I just bought it digitally because I was running out of time. I wanted to play it on the flight, and I wanted to play it when I had time while I was overseas, so that I could come back and then we could talk about it. So I unfortunately just caved and bought it.
I'm so sorry you had to
digitally. So
now it's going to be sitting on your Switch home screen forever, taunting
and I got no plush cow to show for it, which is the real bummer. Story of Seasons could never. I've always gotten my pre-order plushies or whatever from Marvelous.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was my first experience with the game, which was not off to
not great.
A really great start.
So yeah, okay, right. So I think, would you agree with me when I say that this is now a story farming game? This is not like so many farming games they'll have some story, but like the story is there as a thing that you can do alongside everything else. Whereas this game very much feels like it's saying, no, the farming is a thing you do to do the story.
Yes. I do feel like it. This is where it's weird, because I felt like that so much with the Doraemon Story of Seasons, that it was like primarily story.
Yeah, but that was a good story.
I do feel like there is a lot more non-story gameplay in this, at least as much as I have played, and I think a lot of that is because there's much more open world stuff to do. I will start this by saying I think it's safe to say it's clear that you are not a fan of this game.
I'm not a fan. So it's interesting. Like, if we take each individual part of this game, there are things that I dislike, but in general, each individual part is actually generally pretty good. I have some issues with them, but part of the problem is even with that, it doesn't feel like everything meshes well together, and it's hard to explain why. But the game really did not grab me. Like, I don't know why. The farming. I have some issues with the farming, but the farming was fine. Right. The open world traversal. It's not amazing, but it was fine.
Yeah.
The characters, nothing amazing, but they were fine. All of these mechanics are fine, but together it feels like it's the less than the sum of its parts.
Yes. I don't know. I'm like in a weird spot because I'm pleasantly surprised with it.
Interesting.
Not in like this is the best game I've ever played, but it is better than I expected it to be. To be fair, my expectations were on the floor. Like they were pretty low, especially after one world. It was.
Well, do you want to know something interesting? I actually thought One World was a better game than this.
Huh.
So I think this game, it looks nicer. The graphics are nicer on this. I think the character models are really nice. There's lots of stuff about this game that looks really nice. Especially like the conversation art.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice. I think that's really nice.
I think the linearity of it, because One World was also very story based. It was very story based and very linear because it was just go to this area, finish the thing in this area. Yeah. Now hurry, go to the next area, move it along, and you're going through each area that's like the seasons.
Yeah,
and then you get to the end and you have the like Harvest Goddess farm or whatever, and it's your like end game farm. But
yeah,
I did not feel I feel like this is the impression that I got from this game is that they took everything that they wanted to actually do with One World and then they did it in a much better way here. Like there's still the idea that you have which I actually kind of like this concept that you have these different villages that are season based. And instead of like you are locked to growing these specific crops in those specific seasons, you can grow it in those villages that are for that. Like you can grow the autumn crops in the autumn season any time of year, and the winter crops in the winter village any time of year, things like that. I like that idea because it is enough of a departure. It's like an interesting departure from the classic farming game style of just it's spring, so these are the things I plant, and it's summer, and these are the things I plant. Like I'm not fine. The other thing too is that you're never in a position with this where you're like killing crops because you're growing them in the wrong season or something. If you plant something in the wrong season town or whatever, you just get like a variation of that thing. You get like a subspecies of that crop or whatever, or like a sub-variant for like the spring variant of a pumpkin or something, whatever
or it grows slowly or something like that. Yeah. Like I think I agree with you with that. Like I think that is good, and I think that's something they should definitely continue forward, and I think that was one of the best things about One World, and I'm glad that they pulled that forward. What I would disagree with is like, so you say like, a lot of the things they do it better. I think if One World didn't exist, I would probably enjoy this game more. Not because One World did stuff better necessarily, but I felt like some of the things were an interesting idea and a new concept, but not one that I want to continue. So if we take, for example, getting the seeds, right? In both this game and One World, you basically just get by going to these harvest sprites that are all over the map. Like, they're literally everywhere. You go to them and they give you a few seeds, and you use those seeds. And what I would say is that makes no sense in this game thematically. In the last game, it existed like that because the whole point of the last game was people don't know how to farm anymore. You need to remember how to farm and show the world how to farm. And so you couldn't just go buy seeds because people didn't have them. Of course they didn't have them. They didn't know what they meant. So you went and found the harvest sprites and you got your seeds, and and that was an interesting thing. It was an interesting story thing. But mechanically, I find it really frustrating, especially in this game.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I do agree that like it would be nicer to just be able to say, I want, like go into the shop and buy whatever, rather than having to
a mismatch of random things that I'm growing.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's especially frustrating because this is a huge world. So yeah, sure, the sprites are everywhere, but you have to walk so far to get to any of them.
You do. I will say one nice thing about this is that they have made it a little bit easier in that you can add filters to the map that show you exactly where, like if you say you want daisy seeds, you just put daisy seeds as the filter on the map, and it shows you every single harvest sprite that gives you daisy seeds.
You have to have had the seed before, but yeah. I agree. That's great.
So that's nice, but yes,
but it still feels like you're taking forever to get to them.
Well, and that's the thing is that like the traversal is, while I do think the like open worldness of this game is a way better experience for me than the linear experience of One World was, especially just because it feels more polished of an environment. Like the setting in general feels much more polished. There were so many like horrendous glitches that I had in One World that were just I haven't hit any yet. I'm sure they're in here for sure. I had one where the game locked on like loading between cutscenes, and I had to restart. But otherwise, traveling around the map has been a like pleasant experience, except for the fact that you move incredibly slow. If they had sped up traversal a bit more, I feel like the experience would have been a lot better.
I think the problem is they're trying to encourage you to get mounts, right?
Yes.
So they make the walking speed slow.
Mounts
with a ridiculous running animation. It's like I'm running faster than I'm moving.
Yeah. Oh god. Mounts and fast travel, which are things that like it takes a good chunk of time to get to those things.
Oh, so far. Oh my word, so much story you have to go through to get to the fast travel.
Yes.
I was like, I thought there was fast travel in this game, and it just like keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, and then you're like, oh, right, okay, finally I've got fast travel.
Yeah.
You think it'd be the first time you go to another village. No, it's not. You have to go back to that village 3 more times. Oh my word, it's dreadful.
But
once you've unlocked it, the fast travel is great. I think it's good, and I think the map is good. Yeah, but oh my word, the traversal.
I think that another part of that too, like it comes hand in hand, that it's not just that the traversal is slow or feels slow. It's also that the days are incredibly short.
Yes.
In this game, they feel so short. The day-night cycle is so quick that it especially early game, going from what is it, Lechtenbury or whatever it is, the first the starting
it doesn't
town.
Matter what it's called,
to going from the
village 1 to village 2,
the spring village to the next village was so much walking that when I would have stuff to do in the second village, I would just wait till the next day, because by the time I got the stuff I needed to do, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna make it end back to go to bed. Because it just takes too much time.
Trying to balance the story with the farming was quite difficult.
Yeah. Yes.
In that aspect of things. Because it's like, which one do I focus on? And I think that's why One World, I think, worked better, because you could do things pretty quickly and then just get on with the rest of your day doing the story.
There was the same, this is where I feel that same feeling of like, this does what One World did but better, where One World had these like predetermined plots that you can put crops on, and this does too, but there's more space per like predetermined crop, or either like predetermined plot of land, and it's a little bit more like you're getting, I don't know what it is, a 6x6 plot or something pretty much everywhere you're going, and then, you know, bigger later and whatever. But in One World, it was like sometimes you'd have a plot that was like 2 spots here and then 4 spots here, and it's like spread out across it was so like haphazardly placed that it never felt like it was a farm. And I just don't I don't know what it is specifically about how this does it. Maybe it's just because it's more like there's more space and it feels more like structured and contained, and it felt more like a farm. That's what made me feel like it.
I think a lot of
felt better.
I think it is more consistent. Definitely, I don't think there's more plots in this one than there was in One World, like more spaces in each farm. I just think it's less. I totally get your annoyance with like the random bits and pieces. I think that's annoying as well. But like, I still feel like these farms are really small.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because you can't really be getting lots of stuff, right? So like, it contradicts with a lot of the standard things that we like with farming games, of like, you know, you do a bunch of stuff to start with and then you get more money, so then you buy more seeds so you make more. And I just find it
absolutely
I found that as an interesting idea in One World for that concept, and now they're doing the same thing here, and it feels annoying here because I have to do this again. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah, I mean, One World had that thing too where you like pick up your whole farm or whatever.
Yes.
Which is like fine, but it doesn't, I don't know, when you had like different size farms and stuff, it felt weird. I guess I do think that the farming has definitely become a background element to the game. I don't know.
That's what I was mostly talking about at the beginning, where it's like a story game rather than a farming game now.
It's like the backbone of the game, but more that it's like the background, like it, because it is, the whole story is structured around farming and you know, the seasons and specific, like getting the right crops to make the right things, like making the stew for the spring fairy or whatever, you know. And all of it is extremely side quest heavy, which I will say, personally, I'm a sucker for that. I love side quests. I don't know what it is about side quests. I really like them. And there are a ton of them in this game.
Oh my word. Everybody wants you to do something. Oh my word.
And
it's like nobody else in the world can do anything. I'm the only person who can do anything.
And all of those things too are also, you know, like farming like I need it to some degree. It's, you know, I need X number of whatever crop to complete the side quest, or I need X number of, like, you know, building material or something. And so you do still have to do the farming game mechanics in order to get through the story and to get through the quests and stuff like that. But it's definitely not the primary focus. The primary focus is like advancing through the story. It's just that which I think is fine, right? Like, I'm not against that. I don't have an issue with that. I didn't find the story compelling in this one. Yeah. And I didn't, because like the thing is, there's not really in the last one there was mystery to it, right? You're trying to figure out why this happened and blah blah. Whereas this one is like, oh no, there's no why. It doesn't matter why. It's just a volcano erupted, right? Like that's it. Deal with that, right? Like you're moving on. You're trying to reunite these communities. That's all you really care about. And I didn't really feel like there was that hook to be like, oh, I want to figure out what the deal is. Like it's. I guess there is a little bit of like I don't know. There's a little bit of intrigue to me in, you know, what about the like making the sprites dormant because of the like villages being sealed off or whatever made what if that causing was it that caused them to be dormant, and what happened to the like harvest goddess and all this stuff. It's the same like similar style of plot where it's like the end goal is where's the harvest goddess, what happened to the harvest goddess,
but you find her so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they have, like, okay, sure, there's a mystery for 5 minutes, and then you find the harvest goddess and she explains it all to you, and then you're like, okay, fine, but there's still a lot to go here, and now you've removed there's not mystery now. Now it's just, you've been told what to do, now go do it. And then it's just like a million of the same thing now.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, sure, I'm reuniting these families, but I don't care about these people. You know, it's trying to do the like Stardew thing of the stories are in the people and the stories are in the relationships, but it doesn't do the Stardew thing in actually making you care about those people to therefore care about the story. Very
bland in that regard. But I'll say, like, compared to One World, I felt a lot of the same feelings about One World. Like,
for the record, I'm not saying either of these are good games.
Oh, sure. No.
I don't think anybody should play these games.
I think and that's all I'm like vouching for, is that I feel like this is a big improvement on where they came from One World. I mean, if we're talking about like the history of Harvest Moon once it, was primarily in Natsume's hands, like this is worlds above what they have been doing. They're getting much better at like kind of figuring out what they want to do, which is, I think, making it more story based. Which, like, if that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. That's their choice. But does it communicate as a farming game, or it's kind of becoming backgrounded, and it is what it is, but...
Yeah, I think this is the point. Yeah, they're like... I think I agree with you in some aspects. I mean, both of these games, I think, are miles better than any other Harvest Moon game that Natsume have made.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree with that. But, yeah, the problem is... I don't think either of us are against the idea of a farming game being story-based.
No,
the problem
not at
is
all.
That story needs to be good.
Yes.
And... I think they have improved in some things, and I think they've gone backwards in some things. I think this game would have been better had they not done what One World did with the harvest sprites, and you could just buy seeds. I think that would be better in this one. I think it worked fine in the previous game because that was part of the story.
Yes.
I think that some things are better. I think that the graphics are obviously better. I think that I agree the consistency of plot is better. Plot size, I mean, not like plot as in the story. But I honestly think that being open world has made it less fun because it's too big and too bland in lots of cases.
I really think that is primarily an issue with balance that they just didn't figure out. I do think that it could be a much better and much more like comfortable game if they had found a better balance between how fast the day goes and how long it takes to get from point A to point B, which they really didn't. That's like arguably my biggest gripe about the game is those two things. Like, it takes way too long to get to places for how short the day is.
I don't know why because the thing is, there's nothing between the villages really. Like, you might find some farm plots and you find the harvest sprites and that's and the animals, but that's it. And it's like the distance between the villages is so big and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like
there's a lot of
Scarlet...
harvest sprites.
It's not even... Yeah, but they didn't need to be.
Yeah.
It's not even like in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet where there's very little in between, but there's still Pokemon everywhere. There's like, it's harvest sprites, and you go up to one and they give you a watermelon seed, and you're like, gee, thanks, I'll plant that next to my 1 hibiscus, my 3 wheat, and my 2 carrots. And it's like just the most annoying thing in terms of that. And then, okay, let's talk about farming. I hate the farming. The farming's fine, but I hate it. So they did an interesting thing. Okay, I'm going to bounce around a little bit. Like, the cameras in this game I'm not a huge fan of, right? Because like when you move the camera, it's really slow.
Yes.
Even when you turn it up to the fastest speed, it's still so slow.
Mm-hmm.
There's like one fixed camera zoom, so you can't go further out. When I game, I really like in a third party view, I really like to zoom out really far so I can see lots of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that at all here, and it's just one, and I feel claustrophobic.
Yeah, it is very tight, and I do agree that even at max, the camera is so very slow, which is crazy because the default camera speed that they start you at is
it's like
just
a snail.
Unbelievably difficult to deal
absolutely
with.
Dreadful.
Yeah.
And the one thing that's interesting with the camera is they have a farming view where if you like press in one of the analog sticks, it flips the camera up to the top like it's a 2D game, a 2D farming game, so you can see, but you're still really zoomed in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, sure, I've got a much better angle, but I can see 3 plots of land here.
Yeah.
I can't see it, so I can't see where I'm going. I don't know how much further I've got to go. Like, that just made everything so frustrating. The actual like farming aspect of it was fine, but like you couldn't do it quickly, and because you're constantly dealing with this mishmash of different vegetables to deal with, and it's not a satisfying farming at all.
Yeah, it's really not. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, like I'm not saying that this is any like masterpiece of a farming game at all. I just think in the context of, I think that's the problem too, is that I'm really looking at this game in the context of like coming from One World or coming from, what was it, Lighthouse of Hope or whatever it was, Light of Hope or
Tree.
No, it was
House.
No, that was a what, 3DS or DS one or whatever it was.
I can't remember.
There was the Switch one that was it was like a Light of Hope or something. I don't remember. It was a top-down farming version of it that was very not good. Coming from Mad Dash, coming from One World,
Mad Dash was amazing. Do not. No, I can't. I'm not having this slander. Mad Dash was amazing. I don't care what you say. It was amazing.
It's no Amiibo festival, but
it was fantastic. It did one thing, and it did one thing really well. Light of Hope, you're right. Light of Hope, that was the first Switch one.
Yeah. So I think that
Skytree Village was the one I was thinking of.
Oh, right.
Not Treehouse of Horror.
I mean, it might as well have been. So I'm definitely coming at it from this like perspective of, in the greater context of the Natsume Harvest Moon library of games, and I think that like I'm seeing actual real growth in how they're treating the games, which is
I agree with that.
They're definitely trying to do something that is not just capitalizing on the name, and because for the longest time that was what it felt like. It felt like they were just making the bare bones minimum effort farming sim to get people to buy it because they were familiar with the name. Yeah. And now it feels like they are actually trying, they're actually putting effort into making something that is unique to them, and it's an actual playable experience and not just something to capitalize on, the name is a kind of like shady business tactic, Yeah. It feels like they really care about what they're trying to do now, which is, and whether or not they are accomplishing that, and whether or not we feel like they should focus a little bit more on the farming and less on the story and things like that, or like make the farming at least a little bit more interesting. Regardless of that, at the very least, they are not making bare bones minimum effort garbage anymore, which is neat to see. Like, it's neat to see this kind of this like growth over time from them. But
I think ultimately we're generally agreeing on things. I think we've kind of stuck on a couple of bits where, like, I think that this game does do some things better than One World, but I think One World did some things better. And that's fine. I think I agree with you that it does now. I think both with this game and with One World, it felt like they were actually trying to do something, and it felt like they actually cared about making a good game.
Yes.
And
yeah,
yet there is the difference between
like
that and actually succeeding. Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't think either of us are saying they're succeeding in that, but they're definitely trying, and that's at least it makes a better game, even if it doesn't make a good game. One small point before we end up finishing off. Have you tried holding down A during conversations?
Have I tried what's that?
Like holding the A button during conversations.
Oh, A during conversations, and it just like skips everything.
Absolutely, like it's not, so many games you'll hold A and it will like speed up the individual text box, and then you have to press it again to go to the next one. No, you press A. You've missed 10. You hold down A for a second, you've missed 10 conversation pop-ups.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So good. If you don't care about the story, it's incredible. But if you do care about the story, be careful.
You seem to be in the boat that you can just blast through that.
Absolutely, is incredible. I think that was my last kind of mechanics thing. I don't know. Is there anything else we need to discuss? I had some bullet points about the story, but honestly, I don't care. I just...
Yeah, I mean,
care.
I think the like basic premise we kind of touched on is that, the volcano erupted and sealed off these towns, and the villages are, people were kind of all over, so they were maybe not necessarily in their hometown when it happened, so connecting the towns again and reuniting them
is an interesting premise, but the problem is your interesting premise can't be the most interesting thing about your story.
Yes.
And there's nothing else interesting about it. You're like, oh, that's interesting, what are they going to do with that? And the answer is nothing.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the story.
Yeah.
Unless there's something big at the end that I missed.
A lot of it is just, I guess neither of us know for sure what the end of the...
Which is an interesting thing, because both of us had finished One World by the time we did
I would say, though, that One World was such a, like, linear experience, though, that it was a much... and it was such a, like, the barrier for completion on, like, story beats was so minimal that it was a much easier game to just, like, beat.
Yeah, I also felt like I wanted to, though. I felt I wanted to get to the end of that. Whereas this game, I just went... I put way more hours into One World than I did into this game.
Yeah, I think that there's like a little bit more they give you a little bit more to do in this game that it doesn't. It's not as handholdy straight through the story as
fair.
One World was. But whether that's, a bad thing or a good thing, I guess it's up to you because, I am sometimes in the camp that like, I don't want to spend 50 hours on a game. I just want to spend 10 and have like a good experience. But if, as far as farming games or, sims like life sims go, usually not spending, only 10 hours in it. I'm usually spending a lot more time. So, but it's, again, it's up to what you want to get out of it, I suppose.
I mean, what you want to get out of it is not playing this game.
Realistically, play something else, but
do not play this game.
The summary, my final summary for it is play another farming game if you only have, if you've got enough money to pick a farming game, play something else. But maybe keep your eye on what they're doing with Harvest Moon in the future, because I feel like it's only getting better as time goes on. So hopefully that means that, we'll get better and better experiences out of it. It's definitely like a unique experience to other farming games.
Yeah, but so is getting your head shot off.
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't
You're right.
make it wasn't something you want to do. There are so many games that have come out this year.
Yes.
Right? Go play Fae Farm. Go play One Lonely Outpost. Go play Roots of Pacha. Go play Smooshy Come Home. Go play
Paleo
Song
Pines.
of the Prairie. Go play Paleo Pines. Yeah. Go play Go play Sprout Valley or Sunhaven, or go play Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. Go play any of those games. Or you know what? Just go play Stardew again. You don't want to play this game, don't play this game.
It is most certainly definitely a game that is available to play. A good one? That's up to you.
It is up to personal taste, I guess. Go play Disney Dreamlight Valley. For
or play Disney Dreamlight. Well,
my word.
If you already pre-purchased it, I guess.
Or My Time at Sandrock if you must. Coral Island. Go play Coral Island.
Yeah, true. My partner Becky has been obsessed with Paleopines. She's also very, very big fan of dinosaurs. So that was like kind of I showed her the trailer and she was like, "That's it. This is my game," and she's been nonstop playing it since. I since have also picked it up. I just haven't touched it yet. But the amount that she has enjoyed it makes me feel like I probably will also enjoy it. So there are definitely better experiences that are worth your money out there. But I do hope that they continue to make stuff and for Harvest Moon and improve on what they're doing and hopefully make cooler and cooler stuff with it. I don't know.
That's fair. I could definitely see them coming out with an actually good game in 5 years.
Yeah.
But they've got a long way to go. But it's definitely progressing in the right direction. I will agree with that.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, thank you, Micah, for joining me.
Hey, of course. I'm dedicated to it when I get it digitally and can't sell or return it. So
I'm so sorry. Can't believe you did that.
It's Natsume's fault for ruining my plush cow experience. So
we need a class action lawsuit on the
yes.
cow plushies.
Now we're talking. In fact, just make it a playable sim class action lawsuit.
That would be a better game. Where can people find you on the internet, Micah?
Primarily on Instagram now, I think is where I've been spending most of my time. At Micah the Brave, MICAH the Brave. I've been posting a lot of pictures from Japan. Been kind of posting some art stuff there too. Haven't been on Twitter as much, X as much. Because it kind of sucks there, but but yeah, that's primarily Instagram is where you can find me right now.
Cool. You can find me on mastodon.scott or on Twitter on X at the ScottBods.
I think we should just keep calling it Twitter, honestly, out of spite at this point.
Look, I am, no matter how terrible the person, I still strongly believe in supporting somebody's self-identification. Even if it makes no sense and it was a stupid decision.
Yeah.
It's their decision to make. You can follow the podcast on Tumblr or on X/Twitter at THSPod. The best place to find us is on harvestseason.club, our website, where you can find everything to do with the podcast there, including a feedback form to send us some feedback and links to everything, including our Patreon, where you can find us at THSPod as well, and you can get access to the Slack, where there's lots of fun conversations about the podcast and about games and, well, life in general. And we also have extra episodes of the podcast, The Greenhouse, of which we have one upcoming where we talk about the Pokemon DLC. And if you found this episode depressing... Look, we also talk about Watermelon Game a little bit.
Yes. That's the key takeaway.
Go play Watermelon Game.
Yeah,
it's a good game.
$2 compared to what was Harvest Moon, 50? I mean, really, it's a no-brainer.
I don't even whatever.
It's a no-brainer where the value is.
Absolutely. I just put out an episode yesterday of The Greenhouse with me and Kelly talking about Hades, which is a less depressing episode. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, Hades is good.
I think that's everything. So thank you, Micah, for joining me again.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Everybody
Fun.
play Dragon Quest. Play Picross. Help Dragon Quest become more popular in the West. That'd be cool. I would appreciate it.
I was like, oh, it's going to be a dangerous day when they make a Dragon Quest farming game. And then I remembered they've done 2, and I literally covered them on the podcast.
Well, yeah, they're more like Dragon Quest Minecraft games. But yeah,
there's farming.
There is farming.
It counts.
But it's primarily building structures out of blocks, which I feel like it's a very specific thing.
Yeah, it's fun. They're fun.
Yeah.
And no, stop trying to make me play Final Fantasy 14. I'm not doing it, listeners. Please and thank you.
I heard there's farming now.
On the moon.
Farming on the moon.
Apparently,
I haven't played
I'm still not doing it.
It's a good game. I just haven't played it a bit.
People are like, oh, you can play it for free, basically, and I'm like, I'm still not doing it.
Stand your ground, Al. There's a Dragon Quest coming up that is Dragon Quest Monsters. Technically, it's 3, but they're not calling it 3. But if you like Pokemon, it is
did they just have one?
Similar-ish experience. They had Dragon Quest Treasures, which originally was going to be a Dragon Quest Monsters game. Oh. So it has similar-ish combat where you and the monsters are like attacking together in combat, where Dragon Quest Monsters historically has been that you are commanding the monsters to fight for you, a la Pokemon.
Micah, I hate
whatever.
this.
Okay,
fine.
Just look. I don't ask for much, okay? Play the franchises I like so that they're more popular here, please.
Oh dear. Where was I? Thank you, listeners, for listening. And until next time, have a good harvest. The Harvest Season is created by Al McKinley, with support from our patrons, including our pro farmers, Kevin, Stuart, and Elisa. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, harvestseason.club, for show notes and links to things we discussed in this episode.
Have a good harvest. I'm sorry I was late. I was talking it up too, like I was finally getting used to it.